I will call this meeting to order. Call roll call. Commissioner O'Rear.
Present.
Commissioner Alexander. Commissioner Atkins, I'm here. Commissioner Bott.
Here, present.
And Commissioner Swain is not here tonight. The first order of business is to approve tonight's agenda. So I will now make a motion to approve the agenda for this evening. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Passes 4-4. Commissioners, I'll now make a motion to approve the minutes from October 28th meeting. Do I have a second? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? All right, and passes 4-4. Now we will open up to public comments. I will open the public period for comments. Please reserve your comments related to specific agenda items when I call for comments for that item. Comments to the Planning Commission should be limited to no more than 3 minutes per speaker. Groups wishing to address an issue should select 1 or 2 spokesmen. The time allowed for all issues shall not exceed a total of 10 minutes. Issues raised at this time are generally referred to the Secretary for review. Responses will be provided at a later date. All right, I will now make a motion to open for public comment. Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Anyone like to make public comments?
Stand up or just where I'm at?
Yeah,
Yes, sir.
You can approach.
If
Yes.
anybody wants to,
If you want to make comments, just the podium. And when you come up, just state your name and address.
Chief, can you grab some more chairs?
First off, thanks. First time I've ever done this, so
Thank you.
I'm from Trilogy Park. I represent the actual HOA. I'm on the board, and I'm just
What was your name?
basically
I'm sorry.
Carrie Rogers,
And your address?
5076 Trilogy Lane.
Thank you.
Sorry about that.
That's okay.
I think this is going to be for case number RZR 2025.10.1676.
Okay.
So this will be for the rezoning.
Yes, sir. So,
Am I too early on it?
yes, sir.
Yes.
I thought you said for public.
So the way this works, everyone, is for public comment. This is just things in general, but there will be time set aside for each individual case. So whether you're for or against the individual case, that public comment will be separate.
Okay, well, that as in general, I hope as we do this, I'm learning from you guys that y'all will
No worries.
hopefully abide by kind of what we kind of voted everybody for to protect our area and to kind of slow down the development. So
Thank you.
thank you. Sorry about that.
No, you're fine. No worries. Anyone else have generic public comments? All right, I will make a motion to, I'm sorry, go ahead.
So this is just for general public comments.
Yes, ma'am.
My name is Lena Zile. I reside in Kensington subdivision. And I will just express that I moved there almost 10 years ago. And one of the reasons why I enjoyed that location was due to the spacing of the homes. The area was more pleasant to live in, and along with the schools and everything. I just want to say that having an area like that makes it more pleasing for people who want that space. You don't want to have your bathroom window right next to the next door bathroom. So I just want to say that I enjoy living where I live now. I have no desire to move, and I think a lot of people that live in our subdivision haven't moved. There have been a few, but we've been very happy with it, other than the original HOA. Other than that, I just want to say that I like the area that we're in, and I would like to keep it that way.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming.
Any other public comments?
Go grab my chair if you need to.
So, my name is Hugh Moore. I live at 1850 Open Lane, which is right behind one of the properties. is for the 2585.
So right now, these are general comments.
Okay.
So as we get to, that specific one, you'll have an opportunity to be able to make
Okay,
comments.
I'd like to do that.
Okay, thank you. All right, I will now make a motion to close the period for public comments. Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye. All those opposed? And I skipped over the planning commission comments, so does any of the planning commissioners have comments to discuss?
Just want to thank everybody for being here tonight. Welcome to the city of Mulberry, and I guess you'll get to see how we work around here.
All right, thank you. All right, next we have old business. We do not have any old business tonight, so we will move on to new business. The first item of new business is adoption of revised bylaws and meeting guidelines. I will now make a motion to open the floor to discussion to review the bylaws and meeting guidelines. Do I have a second? So now that we have a motion and a second, we'll open discussion to the planning commission.
Yeah, and I can kind of give you some logic behind this. So with the alterations that we've made to the mayor and council schedule, first read, public hearing, as well as second read, the fourth Tuesday cadence of your meetings presents kind of a squeeze in being able to make adjustments based on your comments and then go to the mayor and council meeting and the public hearing. So we have recommended these changes to alter your cadence to the third Tuesday of every month, beginning January 1st, to be able to give a little bit more room to make those adjustments and amend the mayor and council packet.
Okay. Do you have any comments? Okay. All right, I will make a motion to approve the amendment of the, I lost what I was saying. I'll make a motion to approve the adoption of the revised bylaws and meeting guidelines. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
All right, all those in favor say aye. All those opposed? Okay, passes 4-4. All right, so that brings us to our next, which will be the rezoning request 2025.10.1665, a request to rezone the property located at 2585 Brazelton Highway, Gwinnett County Tax Parcel 3001040 from R100 Single Family Residential District to R60 Single Family Residential District for the development of 33 lot single family division. Staff, I'll now ask you to present.
Give us 1 second.
Okay.
Let's try this. Oh, it only goes to one screen. We're only built for the day, so I can give you the time.
Oh,
So we're on display, if we're just trying to sync it up, but we gotta do that, there we go. Yours is being played.
all right, so let me skip to the correct thing so you guys can see the contents. All right, so.
Everybody's,
So this is case RZR 2025.10.1665. Applicants Meredith Sims, Dade, and Maria Rodriguez are requesting to rezone 2585 Brazelton Highway, and the request is for R100 going to R60 to facilitate a 33 lot subdivision. This is located within District 3, and these are scheduled for first read and public hearing before mayor and council on December 12th, and then second read on December 18th. So the proposed density for the property is 2.28 units an acre. And, you can see in the site plan there, the kind of single access point in, around the 33 lots there in the rear of the property is a stream buffer as well as the proposed, amenity area. As far as the bulk standards in the ordinance, there was a recent text amendment, and we've provided in your staff report kind of an outline of the history of that. Should this be approved for R60, the previous R60 bulk standards would apply to the property because this application was submitted prior to that text amendment being adopted. Now, that does not mean that the comprehensive plan is not something that we can't kind of look to in looking for guidance for whether or not we should recommend approval for a legislative decision though. So it's bordered by C2 to the north, R100 to the south, east and west. And it consists of about 14.5 acres. It's currently used, and you've got a site plan in your packet. It's currently used for single family residential use. There exists kind of gentle topography with again the stream and then the wetlands that you see in kind of that hatched area up there. I'll go through some of the elevations here submitted with the application. And then as far as the analysis, so this application is located within the suburban transition future development area. It's intended to have limited residential growth and protect kind of the integrity of the residential character of Mulberry, as well as the rural and estate nature. It envisions single-family residential homes on 1/2 acre to an acre lots. And again, while the property, if zoned R60, would be able to comply with those initial lot standards that are in your staff report, you can consider these altered or these 1/2 acre to acre lot standards when you're considering applications for rezoning. The comp plan does come into play in addition to the Unified Development Ordinance. So both the proposed lot size for this development as well as the density are in conflict with the comprehensive plan as it's currently proposed. So we've done a review of the criteria from the zoning ordinance, the sections applicable to legislative decisions, including rezonings. Of note, you know, with the full analysis within the staff report, it's not located in, the general characteristics of the development are consistent with, from a density standpoint, to the adjacent properties. But those kind of average property sizes are around 10,000 square feet to the far reduced of this one. The criterion related to the economic utility is currently zoned. It is zoned R100 and could be and is currently used as a single family residential lot as is. And then of course it's inconsistent with the future development map, like I said, based on the lot sizes as well as the density with the UDO. So as it's currently proposed, staff would recommend denial of the application. With the conditions that I'll read into the record, staff recommends approval because the conditions kind of alter those characteristics to bring them in conformance with the comprehensive plan. So with that, I'll read those out. The development shall be generally consistent with the submitted application materials modified for compliance with the City Unified Development Ordinance and conditions herein. The development shall not exceed a maximum residential density of 2 dwelling units per acre, consistent with the intended density range of the suburban transition future development area. The total number of dwelling units shall be revised as necessary during the development review process to ensure a 10-foot landscape buffer shall be provided along the side and rear property lines. The buffer shall not be incorporated into any residential building lot and shall be placed in common ownership of the homeowners association. A level 1 traffic analysis shall be submitted and approved by the city prior to the issuance of a development permit. At a minimum, the development shall include the construction of a southbound right turn deceleration lane on Brazelton Highway consistent with GDOT design requirements. If the level 1 traffic analysis identifies any other necessary improvements, they shall be incorporated into the development plans and installed prior to final plat application. We did receive a comment, and I think you've received that in your packet, objecting to the application, it's spot zoning. So with that, that concludes my one other thing. You also received in your packet, the applicant has submitted their desires for adjustments to the staff conditions. So I just wanted to note that that was included in the email packet this afternoon.
Okay.
Thank you.
Is the applicant?
Good evening.
Hi.
My name is Gabrielle Shaler. I'm here on behalf of the applicant. My address is 1550 North Brown Road, Suite 125 in Lawrenceville. Happy to be here with you tonight. So the applicant is pleased with staff's recommendation of approval, and we looked at it this afternoon. We were kind of, all going to the drawing board, looking at the site plan, and later on this evening, my client informed me that we are actually amenable to staff's recommended conditions, and so if you did recommend approval tonight, we would be comfortable with the recommendation with staff's recommended conditions. So I just wanted to put that out there. So I apologize for any confusion. We were working on it a lot this afternoon. With that, I'll jump right in. So the development will be compatible with surrounding uses, as you saw in the staff report. So the property is on the outskirts of the city of Mulberry, right next to that commercial area. There's commercial across the street. And so then there's unincorporated Gwinnett County over there with some residential uses. And so this piece is an opportunity for a transitional use, stepping down from the commercial uses over to the east, down to the residential uses to the west. And the homes will be developed with attractive architectural elements and will have access to Brazelton Highway through a single entrance with a right turn lane. We did do a traffic analysis with our engineer, and they did determine that there's a right turn lane needed, but we do have a traffic study in the queue. That wasn't something that was required with our application, but staff did ask us to get that traffic study, and so that is something that we're working on and hope to have that ready to present to City Council. So the proposed development promotes key goals of the 2045 comprehensive plan, as it will contribute to Mulberry's tax base by providing modest growth. It will help to reduce land use conflicts by providing an intentional transition zone between commercial uses in Mulberry and residential uses in unincorporated Gwinnett County. And the property is located within the transition area, which recommends R60 as an appropriate zoning district and encourages gentle density as a transition from more intensive uses, like for example the commercial area right around there, to less intensive uses like the residential area on the other side of the property. I will pause there for questions. The applicant respectfully requests that you recommend approval with staff's recommended conditions, and I will reserve the remainder of my time for questions and for rebuttal.
I've got quite a few questions actually myself, so I'll
Alright.
start first. I'm guessing you're gonna, these are gonna be half-acre lots, and I know in the area there's a lot of septic tanks. This is gonna be county sewer, correct?
Yes, sir.
So it's not gonna be septic tanks. I was looking at the renderings also, so it looks like there's gonna be a mixture of, what, 2 and 3 car garage units and also 1 car?
So these are examples of the type of homes that would be on there. I don't think the applicant knows the final product, but those are examples of products that they've done in the past.
Okay, all right,
And so obviously we welcome the feedback for what you'd like to see.
gotcha. Also, if we go with the staff recommendation,
Yes,
so
sir.
it's gonna be minimal half-acre lots, so as of right now, it's proposed, you've got 33 lots.
It
So-
will have to change in the development phase, and we understand that.
Do you have any idea how many lots you're gonna be looking at after the change?
So it would just depend on how, the buffer requirement and, the acreage and density, just play out on the site plan, but obviously we would comply with the conditions, and we would work with, the development team in Mulberry to come up with a good plan.
Okay.
I don't know off the top of my head, and my engineer's not here tonight, unfortunately.
I'd also assume you're gonna have an HOA.
Yet I believe that that's something we can do and looking to make sure.
Yeah,
that we
I'm
all
sorry,
have
I'm
it.
here.
So, HOA.
I mean, it would be an HOA.
Yes.
So
it would
with
be
the
a
HOA, this is getting into the general questions, because again, to me, what's the smaller lots are the type of homes that is possibly proposed. So would each homeowner be required to maintain their own property, or is this one of those where it's,
So that's, I understand the questioning, so that's something that, we're definitely open to, if that's something that,
I'm
the
just
city-
curious, like I said, to me, I mean, to these look like, almost like detached townhomes, so in certain communities like that, usually there's an HOA community, and of course, you know, landscape, either way doesn't matter, I was just curious.
Yeah, I think that, the maintenance of individual lots hasn't been a discussion, but if that's something Mulberry would want or not want, I know there's differences in how people.
I'll hop in here for a second,
Yeah.
right? So there is, the covenants that they'll have inside the subdivision is one thing, but they're still inside the city limits. So each individual owner will still have to comply with the property maintenance code.
Okay, that's what I
That's
was wondering.
established inside with code
Yeah.
enforcement.
Awesome, thank you, Jamie.
Yeah, there's just a lot of subdivisions now where it's just all included. with
Yeah,
HOA.
and that's the thing,
Okay,
and when the covenants comes in, right, that's something that's evaluated at the time that they submit for their land disturbance permit, and we look at that with plat. But, everyone is still subject to the property maintenance code inside the city. So whether or not it's covered under, you know, common maintenance, or whether it's individuals like, you know, responsible for their own grass cutting, then that's still, code enforcement can still act on that.
Gotcha, okay,
Thank you.
that's all my questions.
Yes, sir.
So, my questions for you, and maybe really for staff, is, in the staff's recommendations, it shows 2 units per acre, but is it not really 2 units per acre or half acre or acre lots, as far as the, comprehensive plan?
So the comprehensive plan recommends half acre to acre lots, so that would be, you know, the 2 units an acre would be the half acre lot.
But that's 2 separate things, because if
I would
you're,
actually agree with you, cause now I got confused a little bit.
if it's 0.5 acre lots, that's different than saying 2 units per acre.
Right, so, and I'm trying to see, let me pull it up, cause Gabby, when we got it back, staff comments, and I'm just bringing it up too, thank you. It was, you know, coming down from 34 to about 29, and we were good about that. I think it changes it if you're going half acre lots.
And
It does change.
The
it.
comprehensive
subdivision.
plan is also more of the guiding document, it's not the required, document. So that's something that's not, you don't have to meet that
Sure.
comprehensive plan requirement.
Right, and then it is both, it is 1 to 2 units an acre.
So it's an and, not an or.
Yeah, are within that character area.
Questions?
So, I guess when I'm looking at this, one of the things that I see is, it looks like there is an option that would still fit within the comprehensive plan's, character area for that. It would exist within the current zoning of R100. And would just love a little bit more insight on why that wasn't an option that you all pursued.
I am not going to speak to the mindset of my client when we went through this, but we did, you know, as everybody does, we started this process by meeting with planning staff, and we actually met with planning staff twice. So the first time we came in, we asked about townhomes, and staff said that that's not something that Mulberry is interested in. So we went back to the drawing board. And you know, obviously this isn't something you guys care about, but this is something developers care about a lot, you know, making the deal work and the financial perspective from there. And so we looked at what we could do on this property. And the other thing to think about is too, I think this was probably most likely in the decision making here is there's some steep topography on the property, there's some wetlands on the property, and so in order to get a community on the property in a way that makes sense, and that the R60 was a good option. And then going back to what I was saying earlier about a transition use, so a transition use is something that is widely understood to be appropriate and prudent land planning. So when you have conflicting uses on either side of a property like you do here, commercial uses on one side and residential uses on another side, it's appropriate to put a land use that is somewhere in the middle. So a little bit of a more intense use, but also respecting the residential side of it. So that's why you see slightly more density than an R100, because it goes from commercial uses stepping down to an R60, stepping down again to an R100. And so I think that's definitely a part of the thought process for how we landed on the plan for today. And we also met with planning staff, and they encouraged us to move forward with our application.
Yeah, I mean, you know, my initial, you know, this lot's already been rezoned from RE200, albeit 1972.
Yeah, that wasn't us.
R100, and now we're trying to, you know, rezone down even further to R60.
Different applicant.
Is there any reason that maybe R75 was not maybe looked at as far as something in here?
So I'm not sure, but R60, just looking at the property, the land value, the environmental features on the property, the surrounding uses, you know, we've got commercial across the street and pretty heavy intense commercial uses right there. This is the zoning district that we landed on.
All right. Well, thank you very much.
Okay,
Thank you, Susanna.
sir.
All right. I will now make a motion to open for public comment period. Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? All right. I will now open up for public comment for anyone in favor. All right, thank you. So now
I could be in favor with adjustments like y'all were discussing.
Yes, if you want to say something, then please, we just need to kind of have you at the podium, and then just give us your name and address for the record.
yeah, you're welcome to come up.
I'm Gina Crosswhite, 1795 Thomas Drive, Christian, Mulberry. But I also own Amber Creek, which is right around the corner from this one as well.
Okay.
So my questions would be, maybe the R75 would be better. And would this be a right turn only out of the subdivision?
She's talking about putting in a left turn lane.
Do you want me to answer or wait?
But let's just, the way that we're gonna do this, so we have order, right, is you
Okay.
can ask all the questions. The applicant still has rebuttal time.
Okay.
And so then the applicant can answer the questions at the end, once we get all of the questions from everyone. So
Okay.
everyone will have a total of 10 minutes, so you all will share 10 minutes for and 10 minutes for against. And then the applicant, they can come up afterwards and answer all of the questions.
Okay.
I'm sorry, that was not clear. The for and the opposition gets 10 minutes altogether?
No, ma'am. No, ma'am. Separate.
Each.
Yes.
Okay, so then another thing is, so if it's a half to 1 acre lots, then do you take into account for the road in the neighborhood? Wouldn't that reduce the amount of homes as well, along with the buffer in the back that they're gonna have? Because that that wouldn't give you, that would reduce the amount of homes down if you take away the roads and the common space. So, just wondering how many homes it would actually be.
Sure.
In order to agree to everything. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? 4? All right, I will now open up to those opposed. Please come up one at a time. We have 10 minutes total as a group.
I'll say something real quick. We have some audience members online that
Okay.
can't hear the speakers, so if you could speak up a little bit.
I will try to
so they
do
can hear
that.
you online.
Thank you.
I'm not used to being so close to that. My name's Darlene Wilkerson, 1890 Oak Wind Lane, Beaufort, 30519. So this information about the increase of the lot sizes is all new because most of my remarks are skewed toward that. But I'm gonna charge in anyway because I was told by your planning department that this is a concept plan, that once they get the R60 zoning, that the actual real plan that includes, I don't know, square footage, heated space, you know, the garage ratio, all that business, could change. We don't have any of those details in this site plan. So I'm gonna just start off with my remarks and just go on. So spot zoning occurs when a specific parcel or small area of land is classified with zoning regulations that differ significantly from surrounding properties. This reclassification typically benefits a private owner, allowing a use inconsistent with the established character of the larger uniformly zoned area. The defining characteristic is an unjust exception it creates for a particular property owner, potentially to the detriment of adjacent properties or the overall community. 2585 Brazelton Highway is currently zoned R100, is surrounded by 4 R100 estate lots, a 16-home subdivision zoned R100, and 171 home subdivision zoned R100 MOD. There is no commercial on this side of Brazelton Highway. The commercial is across the street. This side of Brazelton Highway is all residential. How could this be called anything but spot zoning? The rezoning of this 14-acre parcel that sits between estate lots, 2 subdivisions, all zoned R100, and plopping in a R60 subdivision in the middle of all of it will cause all existing homes to lose value. We would lose valuable green space that currently functions as an important delivery system for water runoff for all the paved areas already surrounding it. The site plan, which your department I just explained called a concept plan, because this purchase is contingent on the rezoning. It could end up being very different from what the site plan is in the application. The concept plan shows 6 lots in the wetlands. This gulch carries water when it rains. Heavy rains leave water standing on the property. Why should we not worry about flooding in this gulch? How can we knowingly put homeowners' lives and property at risk by building in this gulch? According to the City of Mulberry's comprehensive plan, and I know we just heard that this doesn't mesh with a comprehensive plan. I'll just read the last line. Development is expected to reflect a suburban scale, but with enhanced larger lot sizes and design standards that ensure compatibility with adjacent rural zones. Under intent and vision, the comprehensive plan states advises avoiding abrupt changes in density. I would think R160 is a little abrupt. And then it recommends lot sizes of a ½ an acre to an acre, but the plan incorrectly states that R60 and R75 would fit those dimensions. This rezoning request accomplishes none of these goals. It does the opposite. Such a rezoning would result in a higher density and lot sizes that measure in square footage rather than acreage. And speaking of square footage, none is listed for the 33 houses on this concept plan. Other than the elevation illustrations, we have no details. No square footage, no info on the garage door to front of the house ratio, HOA, rental restrictions. There are no specifics here. Another thing we don't know is who the developer would be. The property's sale is contingent on their getting a rezoning classification that will make them the most money on their investment. This applicant says that the property doesn't have reasonable economic use as currently zoned. Is that because they couldn't monetize the property or get their asking price of $1.49 million? The current owners bought this property in April 2018 for $600,000. They knew in 2018 they were buying a house in a residential area zoned R100, which included a gorge and wetlands. Not a surprise. In early 2022, their logging operation had become apparent. They had built a road into the woods and were harvesting timber. They also built, without a permit, a huge open shed and installed a mobile saw that ran daily. Because of the noise of the front loader operating in the woods and the saw and the chipper's loud buzzing in the shed, I called the county about their running a logging operation out of a residence. According to the April 22 enforcement report, commercial vehicles were also being kept at the residence. In July 22, after the business was shut down by Gwinnett County, the property was listed for sale for $1.49 million. It's been on and off the market since, and now we have this. This application cites the Georgia and U.S. constitutions as proof that they are entitled to this rezoning, arguing that a no vote would be, quote, arbitrary and capricious. They are asking you to say yes to building a R60 subdivision in the middle of existing R100 homes in a gorge with wetlands that divert water to nearby creeks with no details provided on exactly what these houses would be. I don't have to tell you how important this decision is. You are setting the stage for how Mulberry will develop. You will set precedent here. When the city was being formed, there was a lot of talk about responsible growth, transparency, and looking at the big picture. If you want to redevelop the estate lots on Brazelton to higher density, buy them all. Add the 39 acres at the corner too. Redevelop the entire corner into a cohesive plan instead of piecemeal development with a mishmash of zoning classifications. A no vote seems in order and reasonable, not arbitrary or capricious. Please do the right thing. Achieve the goals set out when you formed Mulberry and vote no. There is no commercial on that side of Brazelton Highway. This would not be a step down. This would be R60 clocked right in the middle.
Thank you for your time.
3 minutes, 20 seconds remaining.
Do we have somebody else?
Hi, my name is Lou Pilata. I live at 2294 Pierce. I'm in the subdivision next to the city of Mulberry line. My comments are, there's enough traffic on 1.4. I'm a builder, developer, and construction consultant. 15 acres with roads, wetlands, buffer. They're not gonna get 20 and half-acre lots. It'll be like if they get 20 houses on a piece of property. It's very close to the intersection of Gravel Springs. I have a hard time getting out of Marlowe Estates as it is, and I'm down the road from the intersection of Gravel Springs 124. So, you know, we've got enough congestion. We've got enough traffic. You heard a great presentation, so I'm gonna leave it at that. My neighbor, thank you.
39 seconds.
All right, anyone else want to speak? Come on up.
Good evening, thank you for your time. My name is Hugh Moa. I live at 1850 Oakland Lane, Beaufort, Georgia 30519. My backyard sits right up against 2585 Brazelton Highway. My backyard kind of dips down and I can see way up into 2585. I'm already concerned with flowing rainwater. I have a little creek that runs in my backyard during heavy rains or long rains. There's a noticeable rise in the stream. I've also noticed some erosions. I've seen some water go underground and continue down the stream as well. My biggest concern is that elevation, the stark difference between the elevation at the street that flows down toward my property, the homes farther down in my cul-de-sac, their driveways go upward, so their homes are more or less protected from that rainwater, but my back is at risk there. There was, in June, there was a dead tree in the backyard of 2585. I had tried to notify the resident. I sent a certified mail and they simply refused it. They did not want to hear what I had to say, just a tree that I thought that they should have taken care of. So some of the things that I have concern about. So.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, we still have another minute. Anyone else have a comment?
My name's McCaleb, my first name is Beatty, I live at 1775 Ridge Mill Terrace in Hamilton Mill, and have since 1996. I drove by this afternoon and was amazed. If you have 2 vehicles for 33 residences, that's 66. If you have 66 more vehicles coming into that intersection that only has a right turn lane today, there's no left-hand turn that you can get out of that safely. You have to take into effect this infrastructure. I'm not talking about schools, I don't have kids, I don't have grandkids, I have safety concerns, and I ask you to please take into effect the traffic and road conditions with this project. Thank you.
With 10 seconds if anyone would like.
I actually just have a question. Are these for sale or for rent?
Okay.
I haven't seen that written anywhere.
Okay.
Because I think that makes a huge difference with what's cut, the houses for rent subdivisions that have come out in the area. I'm sorry.
They can't sell them and then they go to rent.
So
Well, or they just open them for
well,
rent.
there's some things I want to add to it before the applicant does the rebuttal, and I think I can answer part of the question with some other stuff. So,
Okay, that's it. Anyway, Eileen Troy, I live in Trilogy Park.
Thank you very much.
so here's what I want to say about some of the comments that were made that deal with my staff. All right, so when we take in applications, it's based upon what mayor and council have approved or the existing code, and because we are a new city, we have to take into account the original zoning that was here from Gwinnett County. So it's a mix of a couple things, which is why we just haven't, completely removed R60 from the code. It's just not something that can be done overnight because there are already existing zonings within the city limits for it. All right, that's the first thing. The second thing is when we start talking about the difference between a site plan and a concept plan. Technically, until we start doing the full engineering of the plan, which comes after the rezoning process, everything really is a concept. Things can happen as, anybody who's seen construction for a while can tell you nothing really is done until the dirt starts moving. And then there may be some adjustments that need to happen, but this, by the time they get to zoning as an applicant, the majority of what is there is pretty much where the lots are gonna be, pending where, there's any rock or anything of that nature. So that's the first kind of insight to that, which is why the comment was, staff said it was an idea of what the concept was versus a site plan. All right, site plan is the full-blown engineering, showing the traffic. This is just something that the applicant wants to present. The third thing I want to say is mayor and council has passed an ordinance that says that, any new subdivision can only be rented out for, if it's a full built to rent, there were regulations that have to be done for it. But any subdivision is capped at 10% can be rented. So anything that you see come before this body or mayor and council, just know that there are ordinances inside the city of Mulberry that says only 10% of those can be rented out. So that's what I wanted to make sure that we clarified on the staff side from what has already been approved by mayor and council and what we're working through as we look.
Can I clarify one thing also? It's my understanding that once a rezoning happens, in this case to R, that the agent that's requesting this rezoning can then turn around and sell to a new developer. That new developer is not held to your planning, to the planning.
That developer is held to that planning. So the
Well,
entitlements.
you lose that every day in court because Gwinnett County's made it very clear that if it's resold to another developer, the developer can do what he wants to within the zoning. So So once it's changed to R60, they can develop, a new developer can develop whatever he wants to in there, as long as it meets the code.
That is no, sir, that's inaccurate. They still have to submit the plans, but that is, they do have to meet the code. But this is not something where they can go in and just say, you know, it was approved by this body, we're gonna go in and change everything. There is a process to that. So it's not like where they can come in and just completely change everything and go, we're gonna add more units, we're gonna do all this. There are steps that can get, that are taken to get to that.
And I would say the conditions that staff is recommending requires kind of that extra layer of information that has to be complied with. In addition to the code, it's gotta be with the submitted application materials. That's what runs with the land and not with the applicant.
And this, I'm just gonna, sorry to derail your meeting.
It's okay.
Right.
No, it's okay.
But I think information, so the underlying zoning are the requirements that's inside of the ordinance. But part of what Rebecca is talking about is this is why we look at putting conditions on property. Because the conditions go with the property, not the owner, the developer. So that's what I mean when I was saying, you know, like they can't just come in and change what it looks like. This is why staff usually comes in with recommendations, you know, for conditions, because this is where we get feedback from the public, from planning commission, and we take these reports to mayor and council for their approval with these conditions to make sure that there's no real alterations. Now, there is situations where, you know, the underlying zoning, they can build by right per the zoning once they get it, but the big thing that you hold on to is making sure that you speak with the developer, you come to the public meetings, you know, we get conditions that everybody can be happy with the property, and then that's how you get a good development that everyone is pleased with, residents, staff, elected, you know, and the developer.
And Jamie, to be clear, the conditions, even if somebody's sold, the conditions still stay with that zone.
Absolutely.
They will be incorporated into the adopting ordinance for that reason.
But,
Okay.
yeah.
Can I ask a question?
Yes, ma'am.
So
So
how do you know if a development is adhering to the architectural standards and guidelines that the city of Mulberry wants, if you don't have any details like square footage and the details of the housing?
Yes,
How
ma'am.
do you know it's compliant?
So we do have to get that before they build it. It's just that,
It's not before they get the zone.
not before the rezoning, no ma'am. That they have, there, so there's an underlying code and an underlying architectural standard, right? That's what they have to comply with. If they wanted to do something that's different from the code, from what was passed, then they would have to ask for a variance for that. So you would see them before this body or before mayor and council for anything that's different from what's inside the code.
So to ask for their rebuttal, do you want me to close public comments first?
No, I can keep it in.
Okay, just keep it public, yeah. So would y'all like to make your,
I have one question. So is this a code issue with the city of Mulberry? Because we've been to quite a few over the past 3 or 4 years, meetings in Lawrenceville with the Gwinnett County Commissioners and Planning Commissioners. And they always bring the details of the plan and the site of the buildings being built on that property. It's not after the build, it is when they're getting this rezoning.
It's the timing of what's available. You're gonna see, if you continue through the process, you're gonna see some cases where they do have renderings. You're gonna see some cases where they don't have renderings.
Why is it not a requirement though? That's what I'm asking you. Because it is a requirement at Gwinnett.
Yeah. It's something we can look into. And look, I just wanna be mindful of something. One thing I wanna say too is, I wanna make sure that everyone feels heard. So I'm going a little bit outside the process, which is another reason why I'm kinda here today, because we knew everybody's gonna have a lot of questions, alright? At mayor and council, this is generally not how it's done. You won't hear me speak, you won't hear this kind of happen this way. So this is why we say, if you have questions about any of these cases or just in general, or things that you want city to take into account, this is why I wanna take the time to do, alright? But I just have to highlight that this is not how either of these cases are gonna go before mayor and council. There's a set 10 minutes, there's not really a Q&A from the floor, that's just the process, okay? Bear in mind that we are brand new, all right? And the basis of where we started from was myself and my staff had to take Gwinnett County's old code, which is what we all ran from, right? And then we have to figure out what works and what doesn't work and modify that. That takes a lot of time, and these are situational things, right? That we have to look at that say, hey, this is a little bit thing that we need to do. We need to make sure that renderings happen. There are other parts of the code that we've looked at, like, okay, well, this is something that even Gwinnett County doesn't follow in their code, even though it's in there. So we have to make adjustments, and we're kind of somewhat doing it on the fly because we wanted to make sure that everyone who owns property has a right to continue to use their property how they want to. That includes selling it for development, and that includes how people enjoy their property who just want to live in this area. So we're moving on the fly. So the suggestion of making sure that we have renderings, for any type of rezoning, we're definitely going to take that into account. There's some other things that you're going to see us kind of modify as we go along, but we wanted to make sure that we got the stuff first, which is why we tackled short-term rental, build-to-rent, cap inside of HOA covenants for rental for subdivisions, and architectural. So that's just kind of where we're going with this, but continue to follow along and work with us. And if you have suggestions, we can get you a couple of our cards so that you can reach out and email them to us, and we will respond as soon as we can. Because there's 20 of us, there's 41,000 of y'all. So that's the best I can do.
Well, first and foremost, I'll say with a room full of people like this, where you know that all but one is against what is being offered, the time that you guys are taking to hear us out means a lot, I think, to every single one of us. The fact that you didn't limit us to just a 10-minute amongst all of us would be really tough. I just have one question as far as you mentioned architect. I've not read every single little thing that Mulberry's put out because there's so much in it. I was at the very first meeting at the stroke of midnight on January 1st and have never been happier to see something come to fruition. I just haven't sat and read every single document. So my question is, when you say architectural standards, does that include like the materials and all? Because what I don't want to see, since we don't have any renderings, is the three little pigs. This person built her house out of straw, this person builds hers out of sticks, and this one is beautiful stone and all kinds of stuff. So when you say architectural standards, does that include what materials and stuff they can use?
Yes.
Okay, I'm seeing none.
Yes.
Okay.
So I will say that, again, this is the growing pain, right? We did get the architectural standards done and revised for residential. I missed it on commercial, okay? So we're gonna see updates for commercial coming soon. But yes, the overall architectural standards for new build is set fairly high to what most people are used to seeing, where 2 to 3 sides masonry. There's certain lot standards, and we did all that, not just for architectural, but we changed the dimensions. So we did text amendments for the lots, right? So what you would see for the standards for R100 inside of Gwinnett's code is completely different from what you would see in R100 in our code. And we just made those little adjustments because for a process standpoint, it's easier to change as a text amendment than it is to change the title, create a new zone. There are added steps to it. So that we could go ahead, and again, being mindful of all property owners, go ahead and get the people who are trying to get entitlements and come through the rezoning process done. We went just with the text amendment process.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Yes, ma'am, one more.
I just wanna comment. I'm looking around this room and I see a lot of wisdom sitting here. If you all wanna really be successful, you need to get you a citizens council going here, because you'll get honest to goodness feedback. We've all been here 30 years, most of us in this area. We've seen it go up and implode. So I'm just a point of wisdom from a 84-year-old lady. Get yourself a council going and get the good stuff from their brains before they're gone.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am, I sure will.
Jamie, can I say one thing?
Yes.
Okay.
Actually, I think it's your
So,
time.
like, I'm
Yeah, I feel-
right now.
If you'd like to come up,
I don't know if I do.
It's okay.
I just sort of
hearing everybody, I feel like we've missed a couple marks, like as the developer. And somebody brought up like Gwinnett County, this is how we do things. Hearings, you know, we do put out like elevations and the square footage and all of that, and that's what goes through. And like Gabby has been with me for a while, and we just did something on Gwinnett for 34 lots. We met with people, we sit with people, we talk with people. This has not been that situation. I haven't spoken with anybody, and I came in tonight, and I think that's a huge thing that, you know, maybe we can adapt to the whole developing situation of Mulberry, and that's okay, right? Everybody's changing and all of that. So I would just say, like, as a developer, I would prefer to table this and then get with the group and understand all of the issues, because there's some issues right here that could be solved very, very quickly. And also, like, just like what we were talking about, like, I don't want opposition. I want everybody understanding, because when you don't know what's going on, you're obviously going to have problems, right? And it's my job, and it should have been my job to address everything with the group here, and I haven't done that. So it's my apology in this whole thing. So I would prefer to table it and let me have a public hearing like we normally do, the things that I have done in Gwinnett County that can address all of these issues. Is that work for everybody in the room?
So we all have to come back again.
I'm not a Lenore Homes. I'm a smaller developer. I do things in Gwinnett County. I'm typically Beaufort City, do estate lots and all that. And this is, I'm gonna try to make it nice.
You're not gonna change that traffic on 124.
I'm going to get everybody, we've got a traffic study already ordered. Everybody do that.
Okay, we gotta get a little bit of order. I love this. I absolutely love this, but we gotta get a little bit of order.
Okay, I'm sorry. I will say, Gabby can do this. Let's please table it. Let's get a public hearing so that I can just sit down with people and understand what the challenges are, and let me address them.
All right.
Yeah, we gotta get back to order. Okay. So, well, Gabby has to formally request it, that's all.
Yeah, yes, sir. I am just up here to.
Oh, everyone?
Hey, everybody, I'm sorry.
Everyone?
Give us some, do you want me to close public comment first, though?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so I will now make a motion to close the public comment. Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye. All those opposed?
Yes, sir. So I'm just up here to respectfully request that you hold a public participation meeting. So this is entirely voluntary for the neighbors. If they would like to, they could give their contact information to staff. That would probably be easiest. Reach out to staff if you would like to attend a community meeting, or we can send out notices, however we want to do that. We can get with staff just to make sure that everybody's aware of when, where, time that we're holding a public meeting, and this is a time for the community to let us know their concerns, maybe give us perhaps some ideas of what they would like to see. The purpose of this is to meet in the middle, to let the community get to know the developer. Like Meredith said, I've worked with her for a while, and she's very willing to meet and listen to the community, and to the extent that we can, within reason, we will apply the changes that the community asked us to our site plan, revise the site plan, and provide an updated site plan at the Planning Commission, where we'll hold a vote. And we'll update you all, and you all will be invited. So we would just respectfully request that you table us for to the next Planning Commission hearing.
All right, I will make a motion to
December 16th.
If you could use that in your motion.
December 16th. So I will make a motion to table the rezoning request of 2025.10.165, request for rezoning the property located at 2585 Brownston Highway, Gwinnett County Tax Parcel 3001040, from R100 Single Family Residential District to R 60 single-family residential district for the development of 30 single-family subdivision. Table that until December 16th.
Yes.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? All right, passes 4-4. Thank you. All right, so the next item on the agenda. The next item on the agenda is the rezoning request of RZR 2025.10.1676, a request for rezone of the property located at 4975 Brazelton Highway and 1750 Thomas Drive, Gwinnett County, tax parcels 3004010 and 3004027, from R100 Single Family Residential District to OSC Open Space Conservation District for the development of 105 single family subdivision. The applicant is also requesting concurrent variance to reduce the minimum lot width, to increase the garage door percentage to street requirements, to disturb steep slopes, and to the HOA requirements. Staff, I'll have your analysis and recommendations.
Yes. So the applicant, Matt Stokes, requests a rezoning for the property located at 4975 Brazelton Highway, as well as 1750 Thomas Drive, and this is located in District 4. Likewise, the first read and the public hearing are currently scheduled for December 12th, and then the second read and decision for this rezoning scheduled for December 18th. The request is to rezone from R100 to OSC, and that's Open Space Conservation District, and it's for a 105 lot subdivision. This also has a proposed set of concurrent variances. There are 5 of them. One, to reduce the minimum lot width from 50 to 40 feet, to increase the percentage of share from 40% max in the architectural regulations, to increase that percentage for front-facing garages. Allow disturbance in steep slopes, to allow them to connect through Kensington Phase 1 instead of having external access, and then to not be subject to the Georgia Property Owners Act related to the HOA covenants that's in the code today. So this is the development. It's made up of about a little over 41 acres and 105 lots. You can see there in kind of toward Plan South, the connection from those proposed 105 lots into Kensington Phase 1. It is largely a greenfield with kind of rolling topography and largely tree today. The concept plan is executive residential as the future land use designation. It's characterized by large lots with the single family residential use in a rural setting with estate style lots, maximum 1 density unit an acre, and it is inconsistent with that as currently proposed. I will run through. Here are some proposed elevations of those lots. You can see some of these, some example elevations, and you can see kind of the need for some of those 40% increase in variances. Spelled out in your staff report are the specific based on the different sizes, what percentage that they need as far as a variance goes. Adjacent uses include single-family residential with larger lots to the south and to the west. Let me go back to this. To the south and to the west. But there are some developments that are between 1.72 and 2.26 density units an acre. Based on the criteria in 270.20.6 in the ordinance that is the evaluation criteria for assessing rezonings before you. Some highlighted points are that it does have a economic value as currently zoned, and as I mentioned, most significantly, it's inconsistent with the comp plan that envisions this rural like setting with on-site water and wastewater private systems as opposed to sewer because of the reduced intensity of these types of lots. The proposal that is before you exceeds the existing recommended density and is inconsistent with the intended character of the development. And also from a UDO compliance standpoint, the several variances requested does suggest an inconsistency with that as well, since they need those to be able to develop as currently proposed. There's also a set of variance criteria. This, from a kind of procedural standpoint, even though there are variances associated with it, they are concurrent variances, so that is considered a legislative decision instead of quasi-judicial. And for that purpose, you've got a set of criteria, but it is still a legislative decision that is impacted by the overall request and kind of connected to it. So running through that criteria, we identified in the staff report, requests aren't unique to the subject property, and the applicant could develop under the current zoning and meet a lot of these development standards. As well as a lot of the requests as is are self-imposed based on kind of architectural preferences as opposed to conditions that are regulatory takings as a result of things existing on the site. So staff recommends, without any kind of conditions, staff would recommend denial. So staff recommends approval of the request from R100 to OSE, and I'll read the proposed conditions into the record. The development shall be generally consistent with the submitted application materials, modified for compliance with the city's Unified Development Ordinance and conditions herein. The proposed development shall not exceed a maximum residential density of 2.5 dwelling units per acre for phase 2 of Kensington subdivision, and the overall density between the existing Kensington subdivision and proposal shall not exceed 2 dwelling units per acre. Total number of dwelling units shall be revised as necessary during the development review process to ensure compliance. No individual lot shall have direct access to Thomas Drive and Mount Moriah Road. A level 2 traffic analysis shall be submitted and approved by the city prior to the issuance of a development permit. Any necessary improvements identified by this analysis shall be incorporated into the development plans and installed prior to final plat application. A minimum 25-foot vegetative buffer shall be provided along Thomas Drive and along the shared boundary with RA 200. And then number 5, all dwellings shall meet or exceed the city's architectural design standards found in section 230-110 unless relief has been granted herein through a concurrent variance request. And then with respect to the concurrent variances, staff recommends denial for variances 1 and 2 related to reduction in minimum lot width as well as the exceeding the 40% maximum of a garage making up of a front facade. And then staff recommends approval of variances 3, 4, and 5 related to grading steep slopes, the external street connections, and the HOA requirements of the OSC district.
Yeah, gonna have something to say?
We'll use a couple boards.
So,
Maybe you want to look
yeah,
up here.
thank you for that. And then
Thank you. My name is Brandon Webb with Chafin Communities. My address is 5230 Bellwood Court, Beaufort, Georgia. Thank you to the commission for allowing me to speak today. I'd like to start by going over the original site plan. This is the cover sheet from the original development plans that were approved back in 2007. I think it gives a little more detail than what we just went over there. The original Kensington neighborhood, you'll see, was composed of 140 lots. 71 lots in phase 1 and 69 lots in phase 2. Our new proposed site plan contains a total of 176 lots. That adds 36 lots to phase 2 for the 105 lots in phase 2 that we talked about. Okay, so let me, while we're looking at this drawing, let me say this development is a little different for us, right? Because it's not a typical development, it's an addition or rather the continuation of a community. And back when this was done years ago, more than a decade ago, the original developer has already graded the phase. Streets were graded, all of the area around the streets, the common areas were graded, the utilities were installed. So this is not what you would typically call a greenfield. It was done, and as a part of our development, we'll have to reinstall, remove those existing old dilapidated utilities and reinstall them. So I just kind of wanted to point that out while we were going over that, the existing site plan. So I mentioned this is different from the existing development. There are homeowners already living there, and that sort of became our primary concern when we started looking at maybe developing this phase in this community. We talked about how it might impact the existing neighborhood and the existing homeowners. So we arranged to have a town hall meeting on August 4th, 2025. At that meeting, we asked the homeowners of Kensington for their input, and then we showed them our plan, the plan that we've just looked at. As a result of that meeting, we learned that there was overwhelming, and this is the new plan, we learned that there was overwhelming support from the existing community to go ahead and develop phase 2. We also learned that their HOA was in trouble, and they need the phase 2 lots to sort of make the existing HOA whole. It's been without the phase 2 for a number of years now. It's created a hardship on that HOA. The HOA dues in that community today are $1,350 a year, which is approximately $600 a year higher than our normal community of that size and scope. The HOA was in debt approximately $210,000. The amenities and tennis courts for the original phase needed expensive repairs. A retaining wall in the existing stormwater pond also needed expensive repairs. And so that brings us to our proposed site plan. We believe this site plan complements the look and feel of the existing community. It provides the density necessary to make the existing HOA solvent, not just now, but for years to come. And it also creates a financially viable development, which does not exist with the current plan, the original plan that we just looked at. I believe that's evidenced by the fact that this development has sat dormant for years and years, more than a decade. It was previously owned by a national builder. They were unable to develop based on that plan. So also based on our meeting with the homeowners, we made plans for this community and for the existing HOA to improve it in several ways. Number one, and that's based on this site plan, to forgive the debt of $210,000 that HOA had incurred, to resurface the tennis courts and convert one of those to a pickleball court, to make repairs to the retaining wall that was failing, and to make repairs to the pond that needed maintenance. And probably most importantly, to take a look at the amount of the annual dues assessment. And then once this development comes online, to reassess the amount of the annual dues and recalculate those dues based on the new lot total of 179 units. And so I'll address the variances. I'll start number one with the lot width. We've already talked about the economic viability of the neighborhood and how it wasn't economically viable the way it was originally laid out. I would just add and maybe restate the existing zoning allows 69 lots in that phase, a phase that was already previously graded and approved. Our plan adds 36 lots to that original plan for the total of 105. The garage door percentage, I'll talk about that just by giving an example. So on a 50, let's take a 50-foot wide lot. If you have a 50-foot wide lot, you have 5-foot setbacks on either side, and you, as a builder, you have to make allowances for the brick or stone or whatever you're using. And you end up with an actual house, a structure that's 38, 39 feet wide. In our case, 39 feet here. Then you consider a 2-car garage door 16 feet wide. The 40% standard is not achievable with those numbers, so we're requesting 40 versus the standard 40. Slope grading, I think we have an exhibit for that. So I know this is hard to see, but if you see the outlines, the red outlines, this whole area was graded previously, okay? As you know, years ago when they graded phase 2. The areas outlined in red are areas with slopes exceeding 40%, but they're not virgin ground, they're not natural slopes. They were graded as part of that grading site plan. So those are the areas that we're talking about. So we'd like to clarify our slope grading request and say that the request to grade the slope steeper than 25% only applies to areas that were previously graded and not undisturbed areas. Number 4, the entrance. As stated, we intend to develop this as a phase of the existing Kensington neighborhood and should not require an additional entrance. We already have 2 entrances for the community. Number 5, as it relates to the Georgia Property Owners Association Act, this property has already been subjected to the existing homeowners association, and we'd like to keep that intact as is. In addition, let me just say that we'd like to revise our plan to reflect staff comments to include a 25-foot buffer along Thomas Drive. And generally, in closing, let me say we developed the property across the street, across Mount Moriah Road. It's called the Preserve at Brookmont. We built that community using the same lot sizes and similar homes as we're proposing to do here. The community looks great, feels great. We have positive reviews from that community all the time, even though now it's built out. And so we're very proud of that community, and I think we'd be very proud of this community also. I believe our proposal, as submitted, exemplifies what responsible development should look like. Thank you for your time, and I'd like to reserve time for rebuttal.
Comments?
So, I do have one about the grading. Well, I have several, but the one I want to talk about is the grading. Just to clarify, those areas there, that's the existing grading there is in red, where
Yes, sir.
areas. And no new grading is being, in any undisturbed areas that you stated, because
In
steep
slopes, in the steep
slope-
areas.
in the steep
Correct.
areas, because, you know, I've seen what grading in steep areas looks like. Anybody, all they gotta do is drive through Hamilton Mill to see that, so that's why I have concerns about the grading. So, I just, clarification, you're just talking about any areas that have already been
They were
previously graded?
previously graded.
Okay.
And I think we agree with staff comments. It was just a clarification of grading those areas that were previously graded. And I might add, maybe to further help you with your concerns, if you look at the original site plan, which is here,
Yeah.
versus our site plan, notice all the buffer in the green all the way around the community. If you look at the original site plan, lots go all the way to the property line, like around Thomas Drive, around these private property owners. There was no buffer in the original plan. And so I think that further helps your point about the grading.
So, my question, if it was originally R100 in the front part of the neighborhood, why wouldn't you just stay with R100? Because even R100 technically doesn't meet the comprehensive plan, but at least there's a precedent set in that. So why would you have left it R100 in the first place?
Perfect question. So, the simple answer is, it's just not economically viable to build it that way. And so, it's been R100 for years. A national builder has owned it for years. If it could be developed viably as R100, they would have done so, right? They wanted to, they just couldn't make it work. I also note that phase one, while zoned R100, the lots aren't actually built that way. I wasn't around in 2006 or 7 when this was done. If you actually go out and measure the lots and look at the lots, they don't meet the R100 standards. I don't know if there were variances done on phase one to get smaller lots. I'm not sure about that. But I hope that answers your question.
Thank you. Anyone else? Okay.
Folks, we'd like to ask the commission to table our request at this time, to give us more time to evaluate and further consider this project.
Thank you. All right.
Here's what I think we should do.
Okay.
I think it's great for the community and the developer, as well as, everyone is, if this is just for public participation, right? This isn't the public hearing portion that's done at Marion County.
This would allow.
So let's just allow the public, if they have any comments or anything.
Yeah, I agree.
To address those,
So-
for or against.
Okay, so I'll go ahead and make a motion to open the period for public comments. Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? All right, so now the portion of public comment is now open. Would anybody that would like to speak in favor?
Tough crowd, y'all.
Tough
Hey, we're learning a lot tonight.
I have to give the opportunity. All right, since we have no one to speak in favor, we will allow 10-minute time for any of those in opposition. Yes, ma'am. Come on. Yes, please come up and state your name and address.
Sorry, everybody. If I'd known I was going to talk, I would have sat on the end. That was not my intention. Good evening.
Good evening.
I've never done any public speaking. I've never done any of this before.
You'll do
My
great.
name is Debbie Miller. I live at 4324 Milford Place in Houston, Georgia, 30548, which is part of Brentwood Place. I can tell you the reason that all these people are here is because we don't want this. I voted for the city of Mulberry. I understand that growth is needed. I was always under the impression that with the city of Mulberry, it was going to be controlled growth. Certainly, the city of Mulberry can do better than this. But my real issue is that I can't get out of my neighborhood. I live between all the development that's going on at Mount Moriah right now, all the development that's going across the street from Huntington West. When I want to go out of my neighborhood and turn left, I have to turn right, go down to Mount Moriah, go down around Little Mulberry Park, come up Pine Street so I can make a left-hand turn to get anywhere that I want to go. and that's with no traffic from the development that's being developed now at Mount Moriah. That's with no traffic with what's going on across the street from the house. So I plead with you. Again, I know there's gonna be growth. Please let it be good, controlled growth. Let it be nice properties that you're gonna approve. And let me please be able to get out of my neighborhood. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much. Someone else like to speak? Yes, ma'am.
Sit.
Okay, can you just at least say your name
Right,
and address, please?
Teresa Manning, this is my husband Andrew. We live at, 1770 Thomas Drive, Cushman, Georgia, 30548. We've been there 52 years, same address, when it was a dirt road. Traffic was not a problem. We actually get our mail from Jackson, we get our phone out of Winder, and we pay taxes in Gwinnett. And looking at the map up here, we're right where the V is at the top.
Okay.
And when the land, the 10 acres next to us was sold at 1750, we were told, we were promised in Gwinnett County, and it was written up, we had a 75-foot buffer around the property, which was, that was fine, that was good. The land is just laid empty, you know. But where they're gonna come behind our property, there's a creek there. It's a boundary creek. Now, looks like it's gonna be green space there, that's good. My major concern was traffic, would they be allowed to get out onto Thomas Drive? But as I see in the drawing, it's a cul-de-sac, which we can live with that. Because our little old road, half is Gwinnett and half is Barrow. We've been surfaced, paved one time in 25, 30 years. Barrow County did their share, but then they left the Gwinnett County just funky. But we have our own well, and it's not too far from the property line. We have a deep well. So we have no other road, or no sidewalks, no, you know, everything is individually owned by the landowners. And I don't mind the homes, because all that Mount Moriah, that's been going on for years now, and that's fine, because like you say, you gotta have growth. But I just want to be able to keep the boundary around our property safe and access onto Thomas Drive. No, because traffic is so bad now. Generally, when we come out D Kennedy to get onto 124, we gotta make a right and go back trails just to get back to a red light. Hopefully a red light will come soon.
That intersection.
But that's just, you know, that'll maybe come in time.
People hurt there, coming over the hill.
But when you've seen so many changes that we've seen in our years, when we didn't even have a grocery store up here when we moved in, you had one little Gulf station up on 85, and that was it. But you know, growth is a good thing, but we just need. You've got an older population out here too that still has to get to the doctor, to the grocery store, this kind of thing, and safety is a factor. And you know, I just hope things can change for the best.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Yes, sir.
Well, hopefully I do this right this time.
You got it this time.
Well, I've learned a lot, and if I had time, I would love to you write my speech for me. My name is Terry Rogers. I live at 5076 Trilogy Lane, Pushton, Georgia, also Mulberry. I haven't ever seen my mail change that yet. I am part of the Trilogy Park HOA board, unofficial capacity here tonight, and I'm agreeing with pretty much everybody here. We're very concerned with development. We voted for the city of Mulberry because you said you were going to stop the unseen growth and control. So that's what we're hoping you will actually do and hold up to this. I understand Chafin, they're builders, their job is to build homes. We've got a couple questions. I haven't heard it yet, and maybe I have missed the point. Still haven't understood what their R zoning is trying to get down to, from R100 to whatever. But I've lived on 124 for 38 years. Started in Amber Creek and I worked my way all the way out. Traffic is a nightmare. My wife is a teacher at Duncan Creek Elementary. Traffic is a nightmare for her in the mornings. Mount Moriah is a mess. Kennedy Preserve laid eminent rain to our property in Trilogy Park to access sewer system. You guys had been able to stop that, we would have been appreciative of it. So 160 homes are now going basically across the street where they want to throw those, where Mount Moriah dead ends in 124. Traffic is gonna, again, be a nightmare. They'll have one entrance, one exit. 160 homes, as the other gentleman said, 2 cars per family, 320 cars. The schools are already overcrowded. 85 blocks up, 124 becomes their access road. Emergency vehicles cannot get through there. We've seen them stop, they can't get through. We had accidents right in front of our subdivisions. The emergency vehicles could not get to the accidents. Took them 15 minutes. Cars were in the ditch, upside down. Kensington, I know they've talked about it a little bit, and I'm not quite certain how many homes he's trying to stick in that little piece, because he said what the original numbers were and now the modified numbers, so I would like that to be gone back over so we can quite understand how many total homes he's trying to put in this little patch of land. There are homes in Kensington, I believe, that are over 4,000 square feet. I looked at them before I bought in.
4,200 square feet homes, anywhere from 3,000 to 4,200.
So I know the homes there were large. They were built, originally started out to be homes. Economy changed and they started dwindling them down. I don't know what the current homes are going to be. I would like to know what the minimum square footage is. I think that's important to know, again, to help with our property values. They should look the same. I haven't seen that is. The pictures that they showed on their display board, there seemed to be a range from what I would consider rental houses on up to possibly houses similar to Trilogy Park, to Kensington, and others on that area. The utilities, the streets, I understand they're in there, they have to take them out, that's a part of doing business. I will have to say, if anybody here is from Kensington, I'm sorry, but the fact that their HOA is in trouble, and they are in $210,000 in debt, and all their areas need to be repaired, isn't really pertinent to this. The thing that's pertinent to the fact is, are you going to hold up to protect our homes? Trilogy Park, we have a 370 homes. Our HOA is in good standing. We have money in our reserve funds. We maintain our properties. We just resurfaced our pool. We're about, next year we'll be doing our tennis courts. We have that money set aside. Our homeowners' dues are $900 a year. I'm not sure how they can't, that's not my deal. But again, that's not something you should take into consideration. The 25-foot buffer along Thomas Drive, I don't know what that, I understand you're signing there. I think this is a nice setup, the way the buffering is and all that, but I need to kind of see where that lays out on this big picture here and where those homes are gonna lie. But that looks like a lot more than additional 39 houses. I thought he said, I guess the total was 140?
105.
105, but he said it was originally for 140, but you only did 105, I believe he said, and they're adding 39 more homes total, I guess. But how many homes are they gonna try to put on that small section of land? Those are the things I think that are important to all of us.
It's 30 seconds left.
Thank you. Thank you. I take all the time, I apologize. But thank you guys.
Thank you very
Appreciate
much.
it.
Thank you.
And as I said, 30 seconds, I can talk fast. My name is Lee Battle. I live at 1152 D Kennedy Road, just in Mulberry. And I'm here to say everything that you have said. And yes, your wonderful presentation. I'm not that prepared, but I am just here to talk from my heart. And I'm going to try not to cry. We bought our property in the late 90s when Gwinnett County did a moratorium on development. We were able to get the property, and we sit on 25 acres on D Kennedy. Barrow County line crosses the front corner of our property. I hear that, but I'm going to go.
I need a little more time.
Okay. It is mostly issues with growth out of control that we all know about. That's why we voted for Mulberry. I voted for Mulberry. I campaigned for Mulberry. I wanted that because we bought our property because we love the area. We have subdivisions all around us now that we fought Gwinnett County on to no avail, because that is an estate rural area on their future use map. But they went against their own, the county denied, went against it, but yet they still approved. Here we go. All of these subdivisions are there. Again, coming out of D Kennedy Road, on most times of the day, you take your life in your hands to turn left. I was just in a pretty severe accident 2 weeks ago where I was just traveling down, and I think someone was just tired of waiting to turn left, and he decided he was going and totaled my car. A week before that, my daughter was in the same type of accident where someone was turning left and just decided to go and hit her the exact same way. So it is real to me, and I understand how 1 minute you're alive, the next minute you're dead. And it's because of the crazy growth that is going on. I understand this has been developed and it's been sitting, and the previous developers were not able to develop it because it was not financially beneficial. Forgot your term exactly as you said, but I don't think that's our concern, because that to me just says that their bottom line wasn't big enough and they didn't want to develop it for the amount of homes that they had at the time. Sorry about the HOA, but again, that is financial responsibility. That is not our responsibility to take care of their HOA. I think that goes back to, I don't know, good business sense. Maybe they need a better manager. I don't know. But I just want to say that I hope that, I think, again, we voted for Mulberry because we were so tired of the growth. We love living here. Again, we bought our property in the late 90s. We've been there 20 years. Took us a while to build our home. And we love it. We love this area, and we are sad every time we can't get out of our road. Sometimes the traffic trying to get out of D. Kennedy onto Brazelton comes all the way down the hill, all the way in front of our driveway, because it's backed up so far, because you can't. And so we've started going right out of our driveway, down around what we call we're going around the block, meaning we're going all the way down to Harmony Grove, Church Road, around to Mount Moriah, however we need to go.
Ma'am.
Yes, so, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
It's the same
Thank you for coming out.
So, Mr. Sheriff, we added additional 2 minutes, so we're at 12 minutes. We can allow for more public comment, but we do need to kind of move through this.
Let's allow for one more, if that's okay, and then we need to kind of move on.
Just in the interest of time,
I'm
sir,
John
I'm gonna give you
Severance. I live
2
on
minutes.
Mount Moriah Road. I've lived there 35 years. I just want to say in the King's English that this development is completely inappropriate for Mount Moriah Road. The traffic on Mount Moriah Road is out of control. I have been first responder to dozens and dozens and dozens of accidents on that street. The driving on that road is out of control. Currently, the traffic light stops the traffic down to the Kensington entrance of the subdivision.
Yes.
Mount Moriah Road is a legacy road that's been in the county forever, carved out by the cows, I guess, long ago. But it is now a major connector road, completely filled up with traffic. Now, that street cannot take any more traffic. And this right here is going to create an enormous problem from a safety standpoint and from just a quality of living standpoint. I think that really public safety is something that we would need to take into consideration as well. It's a very dangerous road. It's just the wrong kind of development for that street.
Thank you very much for your comment.
I have one important thing to add.
Oh man, you're the only one who can talk.
Real quick. We're listening.
When you're talking about roads, Brazelton Highway is a state highway.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
forget talking to Gwinnett or anybody else's county that it's in. Dead end street. You've gotta go to the state to get traffic lights on a state road. Cause we're dealing with the same thing on Gravel Springs Road right now.
Right.
The county will do nothing because it's a state road, 324 Gravel
I have
Springs.
contacts of the Georgia DOT that I'll talk to.
I'd love that.
Well, thank you very much for your comments.
I talked to Rudy Bowen, he was the head dog over there.
All right. Thank you.
So, the applicant has some time to rebuttal.
Okay.
And the applicant has already asked the table, so then that would be the first thing that would be addressed.
Come on.
So I'll go back over the numbers here. Maybe some folks maybe didn't hear me. in the beginning. So the original neighborhood was 140 lots, right? 71 in phase two, or excuse me, 71 in phase one, and 69 lots in phase two. What we're talking about doing is increasing the 69 lots by 36 to 105, okay? The question isn't from 0 to 105. The question is from 69 to 105. So I just wanted to clarify that for everybody. Okay? We're not talking, we're not starting.
Let's give them an opportunity to speak, please.
Yeah.
I just wanted to clarify, I think a couple people had that question. So I think in staff comments, there was a question about a traffic study, and we already had a level 1 traffic study done, and we provide copies to staff if you guys don't have it already. I just, for the members here, our level 1 study indicates the net difference between what the property is currently zoned for and what we're asking for in the peak hours. We all know that's what we look at. AM peak hours, trips in +7, trips out +19. So AM peak hour trips, 26. PM peak hour, 21 in, 13 out, total of 34. So peak hours morning, 26, peak hours PM, 34. That's the net difference.
So when was that traffic study?
This was November 12th, 2025. And that's the level 1.
What are considered peak hours?
It is not indicated on this page, and I do not want to tell you something.
You obviously don't live here.
Hold on, everyone. Let's keep order.
Yeah, I understand.
Well,
you're giving information
about contracts,
it doesn't help.
You need to do a traffic study when there's a wreck on 85 and 124 is backed up and see how far Mount Moriah backs up.
Even without
And
wrecks.
that's regularly. That's
Without
all.
wrecks, and no wrecks needed, still back
Hey,
up.
excuse me, let's keep order so he can speak, please, okay?
Yes.
We have to give him the same courtesy.
Folks, I'm just trying to share information. I know we've tabled for today, but I want to give you as much information as I
Thank you.
can. That's my goal here today. So I think that answers the questions that were raised. All the concerns about Trilogy Park, I want to look into that. I know there was talk about the sizes of the homes in Kensington. I know there are some rather large homes. I also know there are some just over 2,000 square foot homes. In the current zoning, in its current state, phase 2 allows for 2,000 square feet. That's not what we've asked for, but that's what exists currently.
Okay.
So,
Thank you very much.
thank you very much.
All right, so I'm gonna make a motion, but before I say that, I'm just going to say that, first of all, this is exactly the process that you should be doing. This is what the community's about. You came out, you talked to us, you talked to the developers. That's exactly what we want, and that's what you should do. And trust me, we do listen to the developers. You know, they have the right to come up and present a packet to us. And so we all kind of work together in that. To the developers, I'll say the big thing for us is, you know, please look at our comprehensive plan, because that's why we put it together, and that's what it's for, so.
Can we do are we able to do a special period?
Yes.
Yeah, do you want me to open to that, or just?
You can open the discussion, because you gotta close
So I'll
public
close and
comment
then
first,
I'll open it.
and then you, there's a motion, when they've been asked to.
So I'll make the motion to
Ask
to
for the
table
motion
it,
to table.
and then we will.
Then get a second, and you can go into discussion.
Still has the motion to close.
Yeah, close.
Close first.
Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
okay.
All right, so I'll make a motion to close public comment. Do I have a second? All those in favor say aye. All those opposed? All right, so the period of public comment is now closed. I will now make a motion to table the rezoning request RZR-2025.10.1676, a request to rezone the property located at 4975 Braxton Highway and 11750 Thomas Drive, Gwinnett County, tax parcels 3004010 and 3004027 from R100 single-family residential district to OSC open space conservation districts for the development of 105 single-family subdivision. The applicant is also requesting a concurrent variance to reduce the minimum lot width, to increase the garage door percentage to the street requirements, to disturb the steep slopes, and to the HOA requirements. Do I have a second?
Second.
All right, so I'll now open it up to our discussion.
Oh, you vote.
Do I need to?
You didn't
Vote.
vote.
We
The
vote.
mo-
Oh, I thought we were gonna, okay. So,
No.
No.
no, we should have a discussion
So we have a
before we
discussion.
vote.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay. I just wanted-
Yeah.
all right,
Do
discussion.
you have to redo that really long motion?
No. You make the motion and then you have a discussion.
Yeah.
Alright,
Yeah.
so the reason I wanna make sure we have discussion, and
Yeah.
I don't necessarily think it was needed on the prior matter, but for this one, I would really like for us to have an opportunity to kind of talk through what our concerns may or may not be.
Yep.
Related to the proposal for this one, and I know that there's been a lot of strong feelings from the community here, but I think it's also a really good opportunity for us to be able to share our perspective as the planning commission and kind of our vision. This is honestly this is by far the largest attendance that we've had at one of our meetings. So that was why I wanted to make sure that we got that out there.
Yes.
For me, the thing that I think I'm struggling with this request is really a lot of the concerns that you're hearing from the community, which is the traffic, that it's already unsafe for a lot of residents with existing traffic in order to leave their homes. And I think that my idea for what we're supposed to be doing with developing in Mulberry is that we understand that people have a right to develop their property and to use their property, but not to do that to the detriment of the other people around them. And as currently proposed, I think that this is detrimental to the community around it for this particular development. I don't know what the right number is. I think part of what I feel like I would need to see is a updated plan that feels more in line with both our comprehensive plan and with the concerns of the residents. But right now, I think that it would be detrimental, in particular to quality of life for the other residents in the area.
Thank you.
Well, I'll pretty much echo Kristen's, sure that they have the right to sell property, it has the right to be developed, but it should be more thoughtful, more laid out. I mean, the way it's laid out is not per the comprehensive plan. I'd like to see something like that. As somebody who does live really close to this development, and the fact that we've already got 165 homes coming in that was forced down before Mulberry was ever created. I'm not looking at my current commute, what it's gonna look like in 6 months or a year when all these houses are done either. So, as you go back to relook at this, that would be something I would say is listen to these, these residents that live in this area, and, the fact that what we already have to deal with out there, what we're gonna have to deal with out here. Again, these are both developments that are, already in place before Mulberry was even, come to fruition. So I would say just be more thoughtful and smart development that does align with Mulberry's comprehensive plan.
Thank you. John?
Yeah, basically, thanks to the other two commissioners, I agree with both of you. I 100%, I say 1000% agree with you on the traffic situation. So my wife and I, we live right off of Gravel Springs Road. We've got the same problem. There is accidents in front of my subdivision 2 to 3 times every couple weeks now. In fact, a pedestrian was almost killed 2 weeks ago because of the traffic. we have basically goes from 4 lanes to 2 lanes, back to 4 lanes again. So again, I get it. I travel up and down 124 on a daily basis, so I know exactly what happens when 85 gets messed up. I can't agree with you more. I've gotten to the point where I leave Home Depot, I'm in and out of Home Depot every day. I think that's how I knew the one guy was here. I'm constantly in and out of Home Depot. I can't go home normally. I gotta go back through back roads, so I get it. And I'm the same way as, I voted for Mulberry. I'm on this council now. I wanna see good development. I know we can't stop development, but I wanna see, I wanna see good development. I don't wanna see a bunch of homes or townhomes just pounded into an area just because that's what we want. We want smart development in this area. And we wanna see our property values go up. And we want people to want to move into Mulberry. And that should be our goal.
Thank you. All right, well, thank y'all, and, I think we all reflect the same thing. And again, just once again, thank you all for coming out. It does make a big difference and a lot to everybody in the city, so. With that, I will, all those in favor of tabling, say aye. All those opposed? Pass.
I have one more thing to say to all of you up in the front there.
Yes, ma'am.
The name of this organization here is the Planning and Zoning Committee, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Well, I've lived up here in Gwinnett County for 30 years. And the thing I like seeing, and it's not just here, it's everywhere, it's all about the zoning. There's no planning for what happens if we zone this over here. So I just would ask you all, you took the oath to do planning and zoning, emphasis on the planning part, is what will it mean after we do the zoning? That somebody has a right to do, but for every cause, there's the effect. And I think that should be moved up to the #1 spot instead of being in the bottom.
Yes, ma'am, thank you. All right. With that, we will move on to the last item, TA-09, consider the adoption of the text amendment to the city's Unified Development Ordinance for the changes for the advertising period for the quasi-judicial proceeding. Staff, would you?
So what you've got before you is consideration of a text amendment for section 270-90.6, and this public hearing procedures for quasi-judicial decisions. So those are variances and appeals. So these are things that are heard by the zoning board of appeals. So they wouldn't come to you, but because it's a text amendment, you're considering it as a legislative decision.
Okay.
So currently in the ordinance and consistent with state law at the time is a required notification period for that public hearing of 30 days. And since that time, so that happened, that change occurred in like July 22. Since that time, the state law has changed and now requires a 15-day notification period. And so we are proposing the text amendment to be both consistent with zoning procedures law as well as the public hearings for legislative decisions. So that's what we're for consideration.
Okay. Thank you. Anyone have any questions? Board?
So just changing from 30 to 15 days.
That's right.
Okay, so the 15, but not what we're for.
And this is just to put us in line with state law.
Yeah.
Effective of July this year, technically, so.
Okay.
Lots of people are catching up.
Yeah. All right, thank you. All right, I will now make a motion to open for public comment. Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed? Would anyone like to come up and speak on behalf of this?
I don't have to speak, just the thing is, it's very difficult to hear all these, what sometimes, I don't know, just maybe in the future,
Okay.
a microphone and a speaker would help.
We'll get a bullhorn.
I wanna get mics. I know it's an issue for everybody, but, again, Rome wasn't built in a day.
Thank you for your comment.
And get bigger signs out there so you can find where they're.
I know.
Like 10 minutes, where the heck?
We're working on a sign to go outside, out front, so we'll.
Put lights around it.
I just got parking lot lights on.
You're important, because it's very important what you do. This is the most important part of the whole scheme of things, is what you all do right here in a room like this.
Yes, ma'am.
That is the God's truth. You think about it.
Yes, ma'am.
Because you can't go act and do stuff without knowing what's coming after that, you know. How are the people gonna get around? And you gotta start with the traffic first thing. And you gotta deal with the state out here, and the county has all these other little roads in here. And you gotta go down there and you gotta let them know what you think and what, because, hey, your idea may be better than anything they're thinking about.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
I have another suggestion about layout, seeing it from this side. Is it possible to put the stand maybe at an angle in a corner, because we can't see?
Well, we've typically never had this many
Yeah,
people,
so-
so it is an issue for me too.
Let me address all that after the meeting. Let's just
We'll
get
deal
this
with
done
it.
with the text.
Yeah, we'll get the
And then we can talk about all.
But
those
thank you,
things.
it's a very good point,
Trust
because
me.
I can't see you either.
Things have come a long way in the last
So,
year.
would anyone like to speak in opposition to this text amendment? All right, hearing none, I will make a motion to close the public comment. Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? All right, passes 4-4. And so that should get us down to any announcements from the staff?
I just want to add, thank you all so much for coming out, again, and I really mean this, right? We have cards that we can get to you, my information. You have to go to the search bar and just go to staff directory and look for Jamie Palmer. Please email us. We are taking suggestions. We've only been in this space for literally about a month now. We were across the street, and if you'd come to any of our first couple meetings across the street, we would be able to have as many people in. So we're we've been using the phrase, we're building the plane while we're flying it. You know, we got the engine running, and so we're just making sure that the wings stay on right now. But seriously, thank you all for coming out. Continue to follow the cases, follow everything, and then just, you know, reach out with any suggestions that you have. Yes, ma'am.
I just want to thank all the commissioners. Your comments were very encouraging.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
We appreciate that.
Thank you for listening to all of us.
I had a case I was told was gonna be on this agenda. I don't see it tonight. So,
Let's talk after it. Yeah, you did 4 of them.
Well, did you just close the public hearing? I thought the same thing.
Sweet, go.
I thought it did.
Did you close, I thought you just closed the public.
Yeah, you closed comment.
Okay.
All right, do it again.
Okay. Oh, no, well, you're right. I'll just do it again, either way.
Yeah.
On the text amendment, basically.
All right. So I will recommend, approval of TA-09, consideration of adopting text amendments to the city's unified development ordinance for the changes to the advertised period for the quasi-judicial proceedings. Do I have a second? Second. Thank you. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed? Perfect. Pass 4-4. Thank you.
Thank you, Jim.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you for coming.
Transportation, what you need?
Yes, sir.
More roads?
All right, commissioners, that concludes our business for this meeting. I'll now make a motion to adjourn the meeting. Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed? Motion carries, meeting adjourned. Thank you very much for coming out again. Thank you. Thank you.
Where's off?